Hey everybody, it's Christy from the Stamp Cycle here. Well, it's that time of year where we are counting down to my favorite holiday, which is Halloween. So I've been really in the mood to make a lot of Halloween themed projects. And last week I was wanting to come up with a cute little treat holder for some candies for some special friends of mine. And I came up with this little treat bag that's got the cute little upside down bat. I'd been looking at Pinterest and just looking at the ideas they had on there. I saw a lot of neat little punch art critters, so I thought I would give it a try and make one of my own. So this is the project that we're going to be making today. So what you're going to need is you're going to need some black cardstock, and I have gone ahead and cut out the treat bag. And the reason I did that is my big shot is kind of in an odd place right now. I'm having to work and film in a pretty small area while we are getting ready to move. So I'm not able to really bring my big shot into the video. So I've gone ahead and cut out both of the pieces of the treat bag. And then I've also cut out with our silver glimmer paper this For You. This is part of the kit that you get, or I guess I should say the Thinlet set. And let me show that to you. Mini treat bag Thinlet. I really love this Thinlet set. It has so many fun pieces that you can use for projects outside of making a treat bag. So when you go to make a treat bag, you're going to need to cut one of these big pieces, which uses this big Thinlet here. And then you also need one of the small piece of the bag, which is this Thinlet here. I store mine on two pieces of this is vent covers that I cut to that slide right into the little plastic cover that comes with all of our dies and our Thinlets, and so these fit perfectly on there, and it's a pretty strong magnet. And then, as you'll see, the treat bag comes with all kinds of shapes, and it comes with an enjoy and a For You word. And for this project, we're going to also need this die. So this die gives you the decorations that you see along here. And we will be using this to cut out that decoration. All right. So besides those pieces, you also need a piece of designer series paper. This paper is from the Bohemian DSP. It's not even Halloween themed, so you can see on the back is the Bohemian, but I thought this really could go for Halloween or fall, and really any occasion. And then you'll need a piece of So Saffron cardstock, scrap piece of black paper, and then a scrap piece of Whisper White. So let's go ahead and get started by making the owl. So to make the owl, you'll need a scrap of just basic black cardstock, and you'll need the owl punch. So, and I think I've been calling it the upside down owl. It's a bat. We're going to take this owl and turn it into a bat. So what you're going to need to do is take your scrap piece of black and punch out one owl. And then you're going to want to also punch out, you see these two tiny little holes here? You're going to want to punch two of those out, and that is what we're going to use for the eye. And those are really easy to lose, and you probably are not going to be able to see them on my black paper here. So let me pull in my So Saffron and put the pieces on there so you can see the two tiny little black dots that we're going to use for the eyes. And then we're going to need the owl. Then you're also going to, for the wings, you're going to need your, I have the old style punch. I have not yet upgraded to the new style punch for some of these, but this is the large oval punch. You're going to need two of those. So when you've punched two of those, what you're going to want to do to get the, as you see in this owl, I keep calling it an owl, I'm sorry, this bat, you'll see that I made wings, like the little curves in the wings. So how you do that is you take your your oval that you punched out. Slide one side in to the side of the punch. Just punch it out, and then take the other side, turn it over, slide that in. It can get hard because, and you want to line up this edge where you just cut it right up against the edge of the punch here. I hope this makes sense. And then you're going to want to punch a second time. So that gives you the wing look. Okay, so let's do that on the other one. So you just slide your punch in. And if, you know, if you want them to be exact, you can line them up and punch and use that as your template to punch the second one so that your wings look very similar. Okay. Okay. Now that we've got the wings cut, we're going to need to also punch out 2 of the smaller circles in the owl punch for the eyes. And then we can put this little bat together. All right. So for that, I'm going to use some of our this fine tip glue pen. I'm also going to use a pair of tweezers. For tiny, delicate cutouts like this, I really find that I need something like tweezers to be able to hold them and place it exactly where I want it on the eyes. So you don't need a lot of that glue. So I just got a tiny bit amount on there, and then I'm going to just glue it onto the white circles that we punched out. The good thing about scrap is you get too much glue, you can just dab it off on your scrap sheet of paper. Oop. Well, we don't want our bat to be cross-eyed here. So let me. Okay. Now, as you'll see, the bat, I have it outlined in silver. I thought that really kind of made the bat pop. So I have one of these. Unfortunately, this is retired, but I really love these pens. And this is the silver marker. You could take and sponge, use your Stays On White ink pad and sponge around the edges, or any silver pen, or if you have one of the white gel pens, chalk pens, any of those will work. And you just want to take your pen and run it along all the edges. To do the wings, you want to make sure that you're not edging them both on the same side, or when you go to put them on your bat, one is not going to have the silver edging. So make sure you are doing them on the right side, so that when you glue it to the bat, you'll be able to see the edge. Now that we've finished going around all of the pieces with the silver pen, we're ready to start putting the bat together. We still will need that pen, so keep it close by. So let's go ahead and glue the eyes on. And again, I'm just going to use some of this fine tip glue pen to glue these on. You just need a little bit of glue on pieces like this, just a little bit amount. This is pretty strong glue, so once it dries, it's on there. It sticks really well, so You don't need a lot. All right, then let's glue the wings on. Okay, then the last thing you'll want to do, let me put the cap back on this glue because it does dry. Don't want it to dry out. So remember to always put your cap back on if you're not using it so it doesn't dry out. Is we're going to want to draw a little mouth. You can see on here I drew some fangs and a little smiley face. So we're going to want to do that on here as well. So I just kind of free drew it here, no template. Just kind of drew a smiley face and then added a couple little fangs. And then you can also put little dots in the center of the black part of the eye there. Okay. All right, now that our bat is done, let's move on to making the moon. So for the moon, you'll need just a piece of So Saffron and a 2.5 circle punch. Just and then to make the branch that the bat is hanging from, we are going to be using the Among the Branches stamp set. This is in the holiday catalog, and we're going to be using the tree branch there. And I just have it on a block. We're going to ink that up with some Versamark ink, and then we are going to heat emboss it with our black embossing powder. So get this nice and inked up with the Versamark. We want a nice thick branch. And then stamp that towards the top of your circle because you want to have room in the moon for the bat to hang down. Okay. Get our black embossing powder. I like to store my embossing powders in little containers like this. I am trying to find some little spoons that I can hook to the top here. In some of my bigger containers that I keep embossing powders that I use more often, I have spoons hooked to the top of the container lid, and that works really well to keep the spoon out of the embossing powder. Like, I hate to open this and have to dig the spoon out, but this is, we'll just have to do for now. One thing I did forget to do is run my embossing buddy over this piece of cardstock, so that you see here you have random pieces of embossing powder that have stuck to areas that we don't want. Probably for this project, it wouldn't look too bad to have little stray pieces of black because it is the moon and it could look like stars or something. But I'm going to just clean this up a little bit with just a dry paintbrush here. Try to get some of that stray embossing powder off. And being very careful not to touch the stamped image because that will take the powder we just applied right off of that Versamark ink. So just clean that up. We're just going to clean that up a little bit. Okay, that looks good. So let's go ahead and get our heat tool. Sorry about the noise. But go ahead and turn your heat tool on. I'm going to turn mine on 2. And I'm going to let it heat up for about 15 to 20 seconds. Get it nice and hot so that it doesn't warp our paper. I'm going to use my tweezers to hold this. Alright, Okay, now that is all embossed and ready, so we can move on to putting together the treat bag. So you'll need your 2 pieces of the treat bag. And after you cut those out with your Big Shot, go ahead and fold and burnish all of your score lines so that you have nice, crisp score lines on both pieces. And the way you put the bag together is you put this piece on the bag first, and this piece hooks on to the side of the bag right here. And then the bag folds over, and then you fold this piece up last. I'm going to use Fast Fuse just because it's a pretty quick adhesive. If you're worried about getting really good alignment, you could use Tombow or Snail. I find that Snail doesn't hold like 3D projects together the best, so I have a tendency to use Fuse for things like this. You could also use the tear and tape. I find that the tear and tape works great for projects like this. It is just out of my reach right now, so that's why I'm going to use my Fuse. So the best way I found to do this is I was trying to put it like this, and the best way to do it is put your paper down with the glue facing up and line the edges up like this, and then glue it down, because you want to get this bottom edge to line up with this bottom edge. That looks pretty good. All right, now before we finish putting this treat bag together, we need to punch our holes in the top, like this bag, using this decorative strip that came with the mini treat bag die set. So I am going to step off to the side and use my Big Shot. That I ended up putting the die inside of the bag instead of on the outside, because with a lot of our dies like this, it will leave an indentation of, as you can see on here, can you see that? That actually left the square part. So I was hoping to not have that happen on this one, and it looks pretty good. So you see the indentation? So now that's on the inside and not on the outside of our treat bag. So let's go ahead and assemble the treat bag. So let's run some Fuse. Let's put a little bit up here too. Okay, then run some Fuse along the bottom as well. And that back piece, you do have to kind of, I don't want to say force, but you do have to use a little bit of muscle to get it to fold down there. Okay. Oh my gosh, how cute are these mini treat bags? Oh my gosh, I love them. Okay, so now let's take our piece of designer series paper. This is just a 2-inch strip, 2-inch strip cut. It's 12 inches across. We don't need the full 12 inches, but what I like to do is take the paper, fold it loosely around the treat bag, and then kind of come back here and eyeball it to see where I need to cut it, and then just cut it off in the back. Now I kind of want this seam to kind of line up with this other seam, so I'm going to adjust this just a little bit there. Okay, I like that better, where that seam's kind of lining up with the seam, the mini treat bag. So you can kind of just lightly press the designer series paper down to give where the creases should be, and then you can come back here and use your bone folder and kind of give them a nice crisp edge. Okay. Now let's glue this on to the treat bag. You want it to line up about a little bit higher than the middle, because we do need to be able to put the For You down there in the corner. So make sure that it's just a little bit above middle. And again, we can use some fuse to adhere it together in the back. Okay. Now, let's just assemble the rest of it. So, before we glue down the bat, I want to put some of our new silver cord. This is in the mini catalog as well. This comes in silver and gold, and it's thicker than the thread that's in the annual catalog. This is really nice. This is great for gift wrapping. It's great for all kinds of things. I really like this cord a lot. So, let's take our mini glue dots. And let's get one here on the end of the cord. Take that and stick it down onto your paper, and then you're going to want to wrap it twice. And then cut. So you can use that mini glue dot to glue the other end. How I did my ribbon is I did it in kind of a crisscross pattern. So you can do it any way you like, but I kind of liked it crisscrossing like that. So let's pop our bat up onto the moon with some dimensionals. And we want him hanging upside down. He's a bat. So just kind of position him with his little feet hanging right off of that moon. Oh my gosh, how cute is that? And then you want to pop up the moon with some dimensionals as well. And I kind of had him tilted, so he's not perfectly straight. I thought that was cute. All right, next we need to glue down the For You. Again, I'm going to use this, our fine tip glue pen. I'm going to get my tweezers out here. And remember, you don't need a lot of glue. You don't want it to seep out the sides. So just put a little bit on there. A little goes a long way with this glue. And then you can position it down here in the corner. All right, and there you have it. That is the upside down bat treat bag. You could put all kinds of candies in there, candy bars. You can even make a little cookie, slide it in there in one of our cellophane bags. You could make a little note to go in there. These are just really super cute. I love the little bat. I just love the way it looks. So I hope you enjoyed today's project. Be sure to give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Head on over to my blog and subscribe to my blog as well. If you have any questions about any of the products or any of the directions for today's project, leave me a comment at my blog and I will get back to you. Thanks.